All right, let's talk about intelligence, but forget what you think you know. Forget the test scores, the quick math, all of that. Today, we're diving into the weird, quirky, everyday habits that might just be the real hidden signs of a super high IQ. You might be a lot smarter than you give yourself credit for. So, have you ever been in a room full of people and just felt like you're a step behind? Like everyone else gets the joke or the concept faster than you do? Yeah, that little voice in your head, the one that makes you doubt yourself? We all have it. But here's a wild thought. What if that very feeling of doubt, along with a few other habits you might think are flaws, are actually signs of a seriously powerful mind? Your intelligence isn't gone, it's just working differently. It's hiding in plain sight. Okay, so let's start with what might be the most backward-sounding sign of them all. That constant self-doubt we just talked about, turns out it might not be a weakness. It could actually be your brain's greatest strength. Yup, you heard that right. If you're always second-guessing yourself, questioning what you really know, that's not a lack of confidence. It's actually a sign of deep self-awareness. And believe it or not, there's a really famous psychological principle that explains why. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it basically says this. People who don't know much often think they're experts. Their confidence is sky high because they don't even know what they don't know. But the more you learn, the more you realize just how huge the ocean of knowledge is. So that self-doubt you feel, it isn't you being insecure, it's you being smart enough to see the whole picture. All right, next up, let's get into some of those weird little habits you might have. You know, the things you do that you think are just odd. Well, it turns out these aren't random at all. They're actually signs of a brain that's firing on all cylinders. Do you ever talk to yourself, like out loud? Well, before you think you're going crazy, studies have found that it actually helps your brain process things way faster. You're literally giving yourself a pep talk or walking yourself through a problem. Hey, even Einstein was known to do it. So go ahead and mumble away. You're just thinking efficiently. And what about overthinking? Do you find yourself replaying conversations from 3 days ago, analyzing a decision from every possible angle? That's not just anxiety. That's your brain running incredibly complex simulations. And there's actually a really cool scientific name for it. It's called metacognition. Basically, it's the ability to think about your own thinking process. It's like you're not just an actor on the stage of your mind, you're also the director, watching from above. Neuroscientists say this is a massive advantage for problem solving. So what you call overthinking is actually your brain doing some seriously deep analytical work. Do you think you're lazy because you wait until the last minute? Well, psychologists call this active procrastination, and it's super common in really smart people. See, your brain isn't avoiding the work, it's just bored. It's saving its energy for a challenge that actually feels worth it. That pressure of a deadline, that's when your brain finally goes, okay, this is interesting, let's do this. And that brings us to night owls. You know who you are. Research has actually found that people who stay up late tend to score higher on intelligence tests. And it makes sense, right? When the world finally goes quiet, all the distractions and demands just fade away. It's in those late, quiet hours that your brain is totally free to explore, make weird connections, and have those big aha moments. So, okay, those are the habits people might see on the outside. But what's going on inside? Let's talk about the internal clues, the way you feel and sense the world that show your brain is processing everything on a whole different level. If you can't stand doing the same thing over and over, you're not difficult, you're just smart. Highly intelligent brains have a dopamine system that is constantly craving new information and new challenges. Simple, repetitive tasks just don't cut it. Your brain wants to be stimulated. Does the sound of someone chewing or a clock ticking drive you absolutely bonkers? It's not because you're overly sensitive. It's because your brain is processing more sensory information than the average person's. You're picking up on everything, which is great for spotting patterns, but yeah, it can also get pretty overwhelming. How about this one? You can't remember where you put your car keys, but you can remember a random line from a movie you saw 10 years ago. That's not a faulty memory. That's a powerful working memory. It's just really, really good at holding on to specific, interesting little nuggets of information. Now, this one might surprise you. We tend to think of high IQ as being all about cold logic, but no way. The ability to feel emotions really deeply, to have strong empathy for other people, that's a sign of a highly complex and sophisticated brain. Smart people don't just think more, they often feel more too. Okay, so we've looked at a whole bunch of these hidden signs, but there is one single trait that rises above them all. It's the one thing you see in geniuses throughout history, from Leonardo da Vinci to today. This last one? This is the real game changer. It's not about what you already know. It's about what you want to know. It's about your hunger for more. The number one ultimate sign of high intelligence is that you are insatiably curious. You just never stop learning. This is the engine that powers everything else we've talked about. A truly intelligent person never thinks they're done. They're always asking why, always digging for answers. Your self-doubt makes you search for truth. Your overthinking helps you connect the dots. The fact that you're even listening to this right now, that desire to understand yourself better, that right there is the biggest sign of all. So let's just throw out the old definition of smart. True intelligence isn't a score on a test. It's about self-awareness. It's about being able to adapt. It's about that relentless curiosity. And it's about a real depth of both thought and feeling. So the next time somebody tells you you're too sensitive, or you think too much, or you're always lost in your own head, just smile. Because you now know that's what real intelligence can look like. So the question isn't, are you smart? The real question is, what does your intelligence look like? Think about that.